It was an extraordinary example of rumour mongering and how rumours can start and just get way out of control, which is what happened. And these rumours started on Friday, built all over the weekend. And by the end of the weekend, there was a German journalist in Beijing for Der Spiegel who was so frustrated with all the calls from his head office that he went around Beijing and took photographs, the leadership compound and other sensitive sites, just to demonstrate that there was nothing going on. The rumours started from exactly three accounts, all operated by Chinese journalists operating from abroad, two Twitter accounts and a YouTuber who took just unrelated and meaningless tidbits of information, put them together, and disinformation, and manufactured a rumour. So there was the fact that there had been some modest number of airline cancellations, flight cancellations around China due to the rolling COVID restrictions that China imposes. There was the fact that Xi Jinping hadn't been seen in public for a few days, which was merely because he was in quarantine after having travelled to the Shanghai Cooperation Forum, his first trip out of the country, by the way, in 2.5 years. So he was simply in isolation. And somebody put into the middle of this a stock image, a file photograph of a Chinese military convoy, and out of that managed to confect a coup at the highest levels of the Chinese Communist Party. In fact, the absolute opposite was true. The party was in the process of consolidating Xi Jinping's iron grip on the leadership. There were 6 former senior officials, top officials, who were arrested, purged, or sentenced to death on the weekend. At the very time these mad rumours were suggesting Xi was losing control, he was in fact cementing control.
Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? So, there was no coup, is that right? I love how the reporter said a modest amount of flight cancellations. There were approximately 6,000 flights that were canceled. I don't know if you would call that a modest amount, or maybe that's how many flights get canceled on a regular basis over there in China. But Xi is going for an unprecedented third term. Don't you love that word, unprecedented? It's used everywhere. So what does this mean about the gold standard? Is Xi and Russia partnering up still to push the One Belt Initiative that's going to have a currency that's backed by gold? Rumor has it that Xi might be finding a way to separate himself from Putin. I find that hard to believe considering the two need each other right at the moment. Anyways, I thought that was an interesting report. I was wondering what happened to Xi. I thought, man, there could be a coup. And I said to myself, this reminds me of Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein when they both wanted to go to a gold-backed dinar. All of a sudden, there was regime change. I was thinking to myself, man, there's no way our country is that powerful that they could be able to pull this off in China and in Russia at the same time. So there you have it. Xi was in quarantine, is what we were being told. Oh yeah, by the way, those who might pose a political threat to him were either sentenced to life or put to death over the weekend. Talk about a quick judicial system. Before we get started though, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because it helps out the channel. And right now, I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, go check out our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPY, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Alright, if you can just take a look at cryptos, you can see they look like it's Christmas time. Yeah, red and green all over the place. I've had so many people ask me questions, and I've even spoken to the so-called professional crypto people and trying to get an idea of what's going on. And, you know, it's obvious, and it shouldn't be a surprise, that everything is pretty much pegged to what's going on to the economies around the world. If that's the case, everything is just stagnant. And what we're being told is the economy is going to be stagnant for a long time. And what that means is you're not going to see much more of a loss, and you're not going to see much more of a growth. Although I still anticipate much more of a loss, because technically we haven't crashed yet. We've had some loss, but due to the fact that we're being told that the US dollar is strong and that our economy is somewhat recovering and that we're out of recession according to the Biden's definition of what a recession is, then, well, hell, that must be it. We're all good. Then why aren't things moving in the right direction? Isn't that what you're asking yourself? That's because it's a lie. Bitcoin sitting at $20,181. Ethereum at $1,355, and this is after the merger. New World Order coin XRP is at 49 cents. Cardano is at 43 cents. Solana is at $34.04. Dogecoin is at 6 cents. Polygon is at 85 cents. Polkadot's at $6.43. Shiba's at 4011. Terra Luna Classic still sitting at 303. It's been sitting around that level now for quite some time after it had a brief little bump when people started realizing that this thing still has an opportunity to gain back some of its glory days, considering that the Do Kwon is no longer in control of what's going on with the Luna Classic. It is actually ran by those who own it, and there's a community involved. Terra Luna, if we're stagnant right now, and this could be accumulation time, every now and then I'm just going to drop 50 in there. If you can afford to use discretionary funds, people, drop 50 in there. Just keep adding to your pile. You never know if you can afford it. Just keep in mind this is a gamble. The truth of the matter is we have no idea if it's going to be able to recover anything more at all. The only reason why I'm investing into it is because I do believe that it will recover. I do believe it's going to get above $1. That's just my opinion. If it was at $119 per token at one time, there's no reason why I can't find its way back up there again. Saitama is at 201359. Not a whole lot going on with it. It's pretty much the same as well. Although it has lost over the last 90 days, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 58% of its value. But not a whole lot else going with it. Like I said, I think everybody's just sitting around waiting to find out what's going on with the economy. People don't have a lot of discretionary funds. People can't really afford to get into cryptos and gamble anymore, as well as any other stocks and bonds. Smart people are moving their way into gold and silver. Anyway, Saitama, 0.0013. And as you can see, that silver is at $20.58 an ounce and climbing again. At one time, it was above $21. It got up there really quick. And then the powers that be, of course, not letting it do what it's supposed to do. So since about September the 28th, when it was around $17.95, it has gained its way up to above $20. You can see right here, it was on the 3rd of October when it was at $19.35. Shot up over $1 in a short period of time. Got up to $21.22 there for a moment and came back down. But as you can see, it's starting to rebound once again. So is that it? Is this the last time we're going to ever see silver below $20? I think we'll see maybe one more tiny dip, and that's just my opinion. After that, no, you're not going to see it below that again. So silver at $20.58 an ounce. Gold out of that $1,600 level. It's now $1,717.10 an ounce. Same thing with gold. It was at $1,616. It's up $100 since September 28th. That's not bad for 1 week's jump in value, $100. So gold is looking good. The same thing with gold. I think people are waking up everywhere. With countries and their central banks all buying up as much gold as possible, it's putting a lot of stress on the market. Eventually, the cat's going to be out of the bag. They're just going to allow the dollar to crash, and you're going to see gold and silver take off. If countries all fall in step with China, this could be bad for the United States. Trying to tell state banks to prepare for a massive dollar dump and yuan buying spree as Beijing's prior interventions have failed to stem its currency's worst year since 1994. Now, this article is a little bit older, but it makes the point I was trying to make. So what China is trying to do is use their US dollars to buy up as many of their own dollars as possible. Think supply and demand. If you put your hands on some Chinese yuan, they're at the lowest levels it's been in 20-something years. Just sit back, relax, and see how much China buys of its own currency to remove it out of the hands of the public. Less will be available. The price will go up. As well as the fact that it's going to be dumping US dollars, which means it'll flood the market with US dollars. Again, think supply and demand. Now there's going to be too many US dollars, and you could see a drop in the value of the US dollar. How much? That remains to be seen. Since the hawkish Fed has pushed the dollar to 20-year highs this year, pressuring currencies around the world. Well, you know my theory on this, that the US dollar is being used to crush currencies everywhere, so that when they finally do crash, they'll be closer to a level playing field without a whole lot of catching up to do, if they want to try to continue the dominance in currencies. Anyway, it says the scale of this latest effort to prop up the yuan will be big and could provide a floor to the Chinese currencies, according to a report. So this will be just another currency, if you thought about it, whether or not it's going to go up, it might be one that you take in consideration. It says the amount of dollars to be sold hasn't even been decided yet, so it just depends. But Reuters said it will primarily involve the state's bank's currency reserves. Their offshore branches, including those based in Hong Kong, New York, and London, were ordered to review offshore yuan holdings and check to see that dollar reserves are ready. So they're getting ready to make their move. Is this another one of those fancy steps that Russia and China are taking to dump US dollars all over the market to help drive down the value of the currency before they introduce their gold-backed currency? We'll find out. But as the article continues, you can see that the yuan has lost 11% of its value this year against the US dollar, which is a pretty huge drop. It says earlier this week, China's offshore yuan this week depreciated to a record low against the greenback, and its domestic units fell to its weakest levels since 2008's financial crisis. So the reason why we're paying attention to what's going on in China, we know that Russia and China were trying to move over to the gold standard. Hopefully they're successful. I'd like for everybody to go back to sound money. But also keep in mind that they're a large economy. And if their economy tightens up and they do less importing, that'll affect countries just like the United States. So if the two of the largest countries decide to tighten up their belt just a little bit, it could affect countries all over the place. This is a worldwide event, you guys. It's happening. And this is a perfect example of why it is you should be invested into gold and silver. Stop watching the paper market go up and down, because that is not the true value of gold. Do yourself a favor. Buy some gold and silver to protect yourself, your wealth, your savings, and your family. Head on over to our friends at Money Metals. Tell them Pimpy sent you on over there. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPY, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. That's it for now, you guys. I will catch you later, and I'm out.